Well, welcome to our next program. Oh, that's the other show. Welcome to Let's Talk. We're glad to have you here. I'm your host, Jason, with my co-host,
Cheryl.
And here at Let's Talk, we like to talk about issues that are important to all of us. And we try to come up with practical solutions so we have less talk and more action. So today, we have a nice, juicy topic for you all. When you're married and you're still living like you're single. So, but before we get into all that, we want to get the number out there so you guys can call in and join in on this conversation. 352-TALK. 352-TALK. I saw it flashing at the bottom of the screen, so you all know the number. Call, man. Or send in your comments. We're glad to really read that on air. And we guess what? We're on Facebook as well. So share. Like, subscribe, share. 352-TALK, 352-8255. So again, the topic for the day is married and living like you're single. Cheryl, what you got to say about that?
Well, definitely that's not a good thing. But let's talk about some ways that married people act as if they're single. I mean, I don't know if anybody has ever been accused of that. Have you ever been accused of that, Jason?
Not I.
No, not you, of course not. Not you.
No, man, I am
nobody else
holier
in
than
this
thou.
room. Anyway, so I think one way that when you're married and you're acting like you're single is when you have goals that don't include your spouse. What do you think about that? You're making big plans, and your plans don't include your spouse. You start talking about futuristical things, and they don't include your spouse. That's one way you definitely have a single mind.
Yeah, acting on your own, you're not consulting your better half, male or female. Some of the guys believe because we're men, we lead, we don't have to consult, we don't have to tell nobody that nice man. I run the show, I the head.
Yes.
I do it, I say it, and you do it. That's how some think. And then you got a lot of women out there who, this movement now, they don't need men for nothing. They ain't answering to their man. They pa can't tell them nothing. They pa can't tell them nothing what to do. Who's this man now coming to tell me what to do? I don't have to consult with him. I'm my own woman, strong, independent woman. I move when I want to move. So they still got that single mentality. So I agree. We got some people who have that, who moving like that. But that ain't what we were called to. Marriage, those of us who are Christian, who believe in God, and we are a Christian nation. I mean, we're slipping from that very fast. But that's another show. It's another topic.
Yes.
But, God, we believe marriage was instituted by God, the first marriage, Adam and Eve. And God took a rib from Adam to create Eve. They were one, unity. Marriage was unity. That's what it was all about. They were one. No single mindset. God saw that Adam was by himself, single. And God said, hey, that ain't good. So let me give him someone, they could become one. Wherever Adam was lacking, Eve filled in.
Yes.
And where Eve lacked, Adam filled in. So they became one and they moved as one unit, married. So they weren't single, a union. So I don't know where we getting off of this mindset that, hey, we could be married and still operate in a single mindset. Where we getting this from?
I think, though, after you've been living single for a while, and some people, in all fairness, they were living single for a while, and they were in the habit. And sometimes habits are hard to break. So they were in the habit of planning for themselves, thinking for themselves, paying all their bills by themselves, just being by themselves. And now you're in a marriage. The thing, though, is you have to get out of that habit. And you have to check yourself and even ask your mate to check you on it, to make sure that you are not acting, thinking, or even living that way. And I think another way, too, is when you act just like you say, you don't need the other person. And when you act like you don't need the other person, I think that is one of the biggest insults.
Yes.
Because a big part of being with somebody is feeling needed. And when you take that from somebody else, you are robbing them of something, because the essence of love really is you giving to the other person, not receiving, but giving to the other person. So if I enjoy giving to you and you are making me feel like you don't need me or you don't want anything from me, then you're actually taking something from me. And I think that will slowly destroy the relationship.
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. If you have that type of mindset, I don't know why you can go destroy somebody else and go get married. If you feel like just want to be you and do you.
Sometimes I think it's deliberate. Sometimes it's not. I think sometimes it's just a matter of you having that ingrained habit in you and you just need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's always deliberate.
But if you've been living that way for so long, can you get rid of it? Especially especially today's society, which is encouraging you to be that way. You look on social media,
Yes.
everyone is love yourself, live yourself, do you, boo boo, and self above all and all that stuff.
Yes.
They're not really promoting
Yeah.
union. They promoting
You're
single.
true.
So
You're
so
absolutely-
if
that's
you've been living that way for so long, and now do you even have the capacity to get rid of that on your own? Or-
I believe so. It might be hard, but if you're intentional, I think you have to be intentional about it because it's going to be hard. And then it's a matter of who you surround yourself with. Because if you surround yourself with a lot of single people, if you surround yourself with people who think independently and who encourage you to think independently, then you're at the wrong place, and you're not going to be helping yourself in any way.
So that's it right there. You married, but you still operating single. So right there, you just point out something like that. Should married people be hanging out with single people?
I think you can't hang out with single people. There's value in everyone, but you have to know yourself enough to know what it's like this. If you have a drinking problem, then you don't hang out in a bar. But if you don't have a problem, then alcohol is not a problem for you.
Right.
So a person with that kind of problem should not be hanging out with single people. But I wouldn't say generalizing they all married people shouldn't be.
No,
hanging
no,
out
no.
with
You
single
definitely,
people.
it's a level of maturity, definitely,
Right.
definitely. But we have to watch every environment we go in. It's very rare you can go into a smoky environment and not come out smoky.
True.
You go around fire, you can come out smelling like smoke. So therefore, you should be wise enough to stay out of some environments. But
Right. Of
we
course.
don't want to stay out, man. We want to still be that person that we was.
It is attractive.
Yeah.
It is.
How is it attractive? Tell me, do tell. How is it attractive? Come on. Don't say that.
Some single people make single life look attractive, just like married people need to make married life look attractive.
Mm-hmm.
The onus is upon you to make the life that you live. But a lot of married people just doom and gloom, and they don't make married life seem attractive to single people.
So
And that's why sometimes you have more of the problem where you have more married women wanting to hang out with single people than you have single people wanting to hang out with married people.
you said married
that's the
woman.
different show
You said
with
married
married
woman.
women.
Yeah, want to hang out. So yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us why do married
Anyway,
women want to
that's
hang
a
out with?
different
No. You ain't throwing no rock and running. No.
God,
Come
We're
on.
talking about why.
Yeah, that's why.
Married-
That's right on topic.
Mm-hmm.
The married women hanging out with the single friends. Why?
Well, like I
Why
said,
is
the
she-
mentality, it could be that they enjoy it. And like I said, the single life could be attractive at times. You see someone who has no one to answer to, who can go and come as they please, whose life in essence is their own. And that's not all bad when you look at it.
Really?
But a married person, they have to understand that they have made a choice.
Yeah, but hold on. So you paint the picture of me not wanting to get married now. If I listen
I'm
to
not.
you,
No,
you
I'm
say
not.
not answering to this one and doing things on their own. So you paint the picture now that hey, when I get married, I can't do things on my own
No, you
and I
can't.
can't. I mean, of course you will have to consult your husband, but
course,
you
you
make
have
it
to
sound like
consult.
now you're sacrificing to be married. That's from what I listen to you just now. It sounds like it's a sacrifice to be
It's
married.
a compromise to be married.
Really?
It's a compromise, but the thing about it is that it's a good thing because now you have someone else. So you're sharing everything. Whereas that's what single people don't have. They don't get to share everything with someone. And that is the good thing about being married. See, everything now is half. Your problems become less.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you because you have someone else you can share that with. A
Right.
single person goes home alone. I mean, they go home to an empty place in many cases. And I'm not downing. There are upsides to every life, and it's a life that we choose, and we ought to be happy with what we choose. But we're talking about, married people and
Right. So, you know,
upsides of being married.
so the single people would argue, I don't go home alone. I go home to somebody, and I get in the benefits of that marriage and the single people.
At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
the married person there's someone sure that they go home to that they can call their
Hope
home.
they sure.
And back to the fact that you must share whatever it is. If you're married, you should be checking in with your husband or your wife, and that's a compromise. But yes, you need to check in if you're running late.
See,
If you're moving, you have to move with the other person. With the other person must have knowledge of your movements.
see, this is true, but the way Cheryl is painting it, right? It sounds like I got to check in and all this stuff. Listen, marriage is a beautiful thing. You
Of
marry the
course.
right person, that person will love you and look out for you, and they'd anticipate your movements. So if you're feeling down, you don't even have to say what's wrong. You have that person, if they love you, your spouse, would anticipate it. So they're there now to comfort you. You don't have to say anything. They could pick up on your moods, and they're there to care for you and just take care of you. The husband will be there to baby his wife if that's what she wants. He's obligated to that. She has now protection. You know, he's obligated to do that, to provide for her, take care of her. He has to do that. Now, you all might say, oh, I single, I get that. No. That man doing that because he just doing it by choice. Or that woman is taking care of her boyfriend because by choice. But a wife, she has to do that, and she would want to do that because the husband is taking care of her. He's providing for her, protecting her, giving her what she needs, so she in turn does the same for him, or vice versa. So marriage is a beautiful thing. And so I don't want it to sound as I got to check in and I got to
Excuse me,
compromise
I am
yeah,
not
Cheryl,
compromising.
I was begging for you to make it sound
You have to check
beautiful.
in.
I was making for you to make it
I don't
sound
know
good
what
for these
Jason is
women,
hearing,
so
but
they want to
anyway.
go run to get married.
I think we're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. He's probably, I don't know, buttering up a little more than I am. But my
So I
point is,
selling it.
I'm
I selling
saying that-
marriage.
No,
I'm selling it
saying
marriage.
that
Mhm.
a married person who's acting single is someone who doesn't give information to the other person. Your spouse should never wonder where you are.
Correct.
And that's why I'm saying you check in, and that's not a bad thing.
No.
You know,
'Cause
if
you
God
want it.
forbid something happens,
Yeah,
then
you
you
want.
need-
You know, marriage also comes with loyalty. You know,
Right.
it commitment. You know, something that you can bank on, promises that you can actually keep and look forward to. People. Okay, so let's go on to the topic. Married people acting like they're single. You know, you got some married folk out there that actually still starting new relationships outside of their marriage. What we like to call sweetheart, and saying that I making it sound too pretty for you.
where clearly that person is acting like they're single.
Yes. So that's the topic today.
But that doesn't happen overnight. Before that person gets to that extreme, because that's the extreme part of acting like you're single. There are a lot of other things that happen. For example, you're married, but you never see your spouse on your social media. There's no indication. There are people who talk to you, people who work with you don't even know that you're married.
Oh, I mean, they don't post their spouse.
They don't post, right?
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
post anything about your spouse. You post nothing.
But what if their spouse
It's a
doesn't
private
like,
person.
doesn't want to
That's
be
fine,
posted?
But people on your social media should know that you're married.
Yeah, and they don't need to
And it
know that
doesn't
you're
have to be
married.
to see a picture of your spouse, but the people who you're around or who are around you should know that you're married, don't you think?
Yes, and they should know that by the way you act.
Absolutely.
Just like how they should know that I'm a Christian by the way I act. I shouldn't be
Absolutely.
broadcasting. I don't have to post scriptures and preach on it. Just by the way I can talk myself.
yourself, yes.
They should, something different about him. I can't put my finger on it, but something different about him.
Yeah.
So the same way, they should know that I'm married. Hold on. I don't see him flirting, or I
Right.
don't see her keying up with these
With
bunch of
everybody,
fellas and,
yes.
and accepting gifts and all this stuff. You know,
Flirting and
yeah, but you know, you
Right.
got some some men feel they can.
People.
I can specific, make it
Some
specific.
people-
Women believe that they can still accept gifts from men. She knows she's married,
Okay.
but she
I thought
feels
we
it's
had a
okay
night when we
to
had
accept
groups.
gifts from men. And then on the other hand, just to be fair, to make you to appease Cheryl,
want a piece
you
of
got
this.
guys or they who feel that it's okay for them to give gifts knowing that they're married. They could buy lunch for their female colleagues or whatever like that. You
Well,
know,
I mean, it depends though. I mean, you can buy lunch for someone if you're married. I'm not sure about accepting the gifts, but it has to be something that your spouse
lunch
is
is a gift.
comfortable with. No, if your spouse is comfortable with it, and that's the thing. You shouldn't do anything that your spouse is uncomfortable with.
well, some might say I don't let my spouse know, so how could she be uncomfortable if she
Well,
don't
you shouldn't
know?
have to hide it.
I hide it. She just say
If
no.
you have to hide it
I
from me,
volunteer the
then
information.
You know in your heart that what you're doing is wrong,
Correct.
and that should be the standard.
But
Right,
like
so
I
the same
said,
thing goes to gifts and accepting or buying gifts, whether it's male or female or not gender specific as it relates to problems or causing problems. So if the spouse is okay with it, and if the spouse is not okay with it, you ought not to be doing it
would you be okay?
with
your husband buying lunch for his female cohorts, colleagues?
He could buy lunch for my female friends, but not his.
Why not?
That's
Why not?
the show. That's not the
No, why not? This is the show. Why not?
talking about something else. I'm sorry.
Why not?
Why what?
He could buy lunch for your friends, female friends, but can't buy for his female friends. Why not?
Well, it depends. I wouldn't say no, he can't. As long as if there are people hungry, and
Woman always
and
hungry.
he's,
What you
he's
mean?
and he's doing a charity, I am all for it because I'm a godly woman and I'm all for him doing charity. As long as the charity doesn't affect me financially, of course.
He's spending your money. It's a married
don't
man,
mind
so the
helping.
money, so
As
you
long
don't
as
mind.
it's not a habit and it's not a negative habit.
But because you know he's a nice guy and
Mm-hmm.
he just does it, and you feel that there's nothing behind it.
Right. If it's nothing, there's nothing behind it. Nobody's taking advantage of him, and it's an innocent act.
Okay. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. It's an innocent act.
So let's go back to how
right.
married people act,
Act
as if they're
single.
single.
So yeah. So now we have some who like to go out.
Yes.
Their spouse don't like to go out, but they like to go out. And what's your take on that? Your spouses.
Well, if you're married and you're going out a lot without your spouse, that's not a good thing.
Correct.
Especially if depends on the place where you're going. First of all, if you're going out alone, I think that's a red flag. You're a married person, male or female. You shouldn't be going out alone a lot. And it depends on where you go as well. And then if you hang out a lot with a lot of single people, then those are red flags. You're acting as if you're single.
Okay. So do you know what some ways that you actually can see that? I mean, because you know sometimes some people, how do we pick up on this?
How do you pick
Pick up on my spouse is acting single. What are some? You gave some red flags, but yeah, some tangible things like what married person should look out for if their spouse. They're not too bright on picking up on clues, right? But their spouse acting out single. So how could we help our viewers?
Oh, well, number one, if your spouse is always being invited out, and especially at times when you are indisposed, when you can't make it out, and they're always getting invitations out when you're busy or you can't make it out. Another thing is if your spouse can't take a phone call around you, then definitely they're moving like they're single. If you don't have access, then this is a whole other show. But if you don't have any access to their device, definitely they're moving like they're single. Yes.
But some people like say, "Oh man, that's my privacy though. Why you gotta be in my phone? That's my private life. That's my privacy. I'm private."
We see each other naked. There's nothing more private than that. So absolutely not. There's no. I mean, you see, you can have, if you have nothing to hide, then there's no issue with me having your phone. I wouldn't want to see your phone if you don't give me any reason to feel uncomfortable with trust or anything. So it depends on someone's response, because you don't necessarily need the phone, But if I reach for the phone and you grab that up and then you see there's a problem. Exactly. There's a problem.
So I mean, I heard it. Oh, that's my work phone, and I have work business, work inside there, and I don't need you to see my work.
I don't know. Well, definitely you have people with work phone, but I don't think there's anything at your job.
Mind you, I agree with you, Cheryl. I am just being the devil's advocate.
know,
I'm just
I
getting
know.
conversation because
But
guess what?
that
Like
could
you
be true,
said,
too.
we see each other naked. We do all kind of things in the bedroom, and we can't talk about that on the show. That'll probably be another show, right?
Yes.
We do all kind of things with our bodies and privacy in the dark, and you're gonna tell me the phone is private, or are you what you trying to keep from me? What you mean? You trying to stay private? And then you have some people that they say they trying to keep their individuality in their marriage.
Then you should stay single.
Hi, hello.
You should stay single.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So guys, this phone need to ring, man. Either ring the phone or send
Yes,
some comments.
try to
We
hear
hear
your
from
own
you all.
voices.
So come join on this conversation. But we got to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Yes.
Welcome to Karen's Kitchen, where we specialize in Bahamian dishes such as fried fish, crack conch, crab soup, and much more. We're located on Queens Highway next to GB Muffler. To order, call 441-4033.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. But I wish these cameras was rolling for what that conversation me and Cheryl just was having. But we may bring it up. We may or may not. But we got some nice comments. We go into the producer. So, Mr. Producer, just let us have it.
Yes, Jason. First comment. The sad reality in Bahamian culture is side relationships outside of marriage is glorified as the norm. Adultery. The minute you have to hide something from your partner, you know it's wrong. Because our female friends don't want him. We don't know about his. When they stop wearing their wedding ring, the minute a woman accepts a gift or any kind of offering from a man that is not her husband, knowing the man is interested in her, it is wrong. And that is the path to adultery.
That's it. That's where it begins. Like Cheryl said, it don't happen overnight. It just don't just happen overnight. They don't just slip and fall and just start their relationship. It starts somewhere. That's right. There's a slippery slope.
Yes, but that ring thing though, because I did have someone comment as well to say, well, usually men like to take their rings off. And I must say some men take their rings off innocently because of the kind of jobs they do. Some men do physical work and they have to take the rings off. And of course they forget to put it back on. So that happens.
Hey, we got short memories, y'all always saying we don't remember nothing. So,
But
come on.
Jason always has his ring on, so he's a very good example for
Really?
everybody. But
Of course,
some
these
men
people go
do-
back to shows and watch every show to see if everything on.
That's a good point. But that's a telltale sign when you don't wear your ring. That's a telltale sign that you're trying to act as if you're single.
Yeah, but hey, can we actually get away with that here in the Bahamas? We so small, everybody know everybody business. So even if I take off my ring, everybody know I'm married to the young lady. So, I don't see why taking off what difference does the ring
Well,
make?
that's true too. We are a small nation and everybody knows everyone. It's just that sadly, because being our sweetheart is so commonplace that when you do it doesn't strike anyone as odd anymore because it's what people do.
Yeah, and Cheryl say, the men, she mentioned our men, and she said she glide over how some women take the rings off too, but it was also said that women so cold, they keep their ring on and they take the ring. It don't matter who said that. Who said? Couldn't be a woman who said that.
No, could not have been. But some women do take their rings off as well. But but I've heard it said though that women don't have to take their rings off because sadly a lot of men are more attracted to married women.
You
And
think?
studies have shown too that there's a reason why married women and married men are more attractive to single people because they look taken care of. They look taken care of. And so the person looking at them would understand that they don't have much work to do. The other person, the other spouse would have done all the work, taken care of them. So they're now ready for somebody. Well, not that they're ready, but the onlooker, this is what they see.
That's the reason why, and it's one of the reasons why females, single ladies, find the married men more attractive because they say, hold on, he already is married material.
Yes.
He's ready, had the practice, he already put the work in.
But somebody already put the work
Right.
in him as well.
Put the work in.
Yes.
He's taking care, so he's already groomed.
Yes.
Or he's already programmed to
Yes.
take care of the woman.
Yes.
And then they'd be like, okay, I could come in and just swoop right in there, and I don't have that much responsibility because the wife,
have to do-
right, the
do
wife
all the
has
work.
to do all the work. And he just comes, they get the sweetness, so they get the best, the good
They
of,
get the
good
benefit
of two
without
worlds.
the responsibility.
Right. So they able to be taken
Just
care of
taken care of.
without being told what to do because they feel the wife now has to be controlled. They free to mingle and just play the background, play the side, take the little side piece. But the sad part about that is, at the end of the day, that side piece is be crying. Because she now, hold on now, I want more from this husband. She's feelings start to develop. She now begins, now hold on now, I won't be the wife.
Right.
So now she wants to play number one role, and the guy saying, hold on, you know you was number two, stay in your lane. So she's on Valentine's Day and Christmas and Easter's and
She
all
gets
that
the
stuff.
13 out of 15.
That's right. That's right. So she have to play number two. So right there, y'all could make this sweetheart and look as glamorous as it is. Y'all know the dark side of that.
the end
Y'all
of the
know the
day.
calling the wife and trying to break up the home, husband home. I mean, break up the happy home.
not the show,
yeah,
though, Jason.
yeah,
How did
but
we
hold
get
on.
here?
We got to put all that inside there because it almost sounds like sweethearting is good. You know, and I want them to know the dark side of that too. But like you say, that's another show. We talking about married people living like they single.
Yes.
And that was part of it. You know, the ring, going out with the single friends, sweethearting,
Plans.
making plans,
You know.
without consulting
Planning
your
ahead.
spouse, you
Yes.
know, and
Another thing, though, we talked about, Jason, the cheating, right? The outright cheating. But what about the subtle virtual affairs or emotional affairs? You know, that you know,
Online.
on the phone texting late at night and all of that. That too is bad. At least that's the beginning aspect of
Yes.
actually the outright cheating. But the virtual cheating, you're reaching out to people who you grew up with, maybe you went to high school with, and you have
That old flame.
an affair on the phone. This person gets your attention, they get your time, they get some of your emotions,
listen,
all of which belongs to your spouse, and that's why it's wrong.
anything that you give away which belongs to your spouse is cheating. Anything. So if you give a glass of water, that belongs to your spouse. If you give that to another female, you cheating. If you know that belongs to your wife or your husband, and she doesn't give you consent to give it away, that's cheating. So that goes for time,
Your energy.
any energy, right? Now, if you don't give the negative energy away, go ahead. Ain't no spouse can complain about you giving away negative energy. So the single mindset, you know, that's ingrained in our culture, you know, because you hear it. No man can tell me what to do. No man. And that even goes to the husband. It goes to their finances, their movements, whatever. No man can tell me what to do. And I have to bring that up because I hear it. And that's the single
And this is
mindset.
like married women.
Yes, you know, and I don't think they start off like that. I think it happens over time when they become bitter. But it's a common thing I hear a lot. You know, when they're ready, no man can tell me what to do. And then you know, on the flip side of that, the men they ain't go. I don't hear it. I just see them. They moving. They don't want to go home. They staying out late. They find all kind of other things to do before they go home. You know, and that's is evidence of them moving single.
Yeah.
Like they miss that single life.
Right.
You know,
But I
and
think, though, do you think that then when a woman gets to that point, when she says that, I think that's the symptom or that's the outcome of something else. That other things that would have transpired in the relationship, and that's the outcome of that when she gets to that point. Because some people who are single never change their mindset, and some people change and adapt to a marriage mindset, but because of situations in the marriage,
They revert.
to their old self. So I think that those are things that can be fixed, but I don't think that's a healthy thing. That's very, very unhealthy when a married woman says, no man is going to tell me what to do, when you have given yourself to this man and he's taking care of your home and he's taking care of
Stand
you.
before God.
Exactly. And all of a sudden now that you're willing to dishonor him in that way.
mind you, she will never say, okay, she ain't gonna complain that he's paying the bills. She won't complain that he's taking care of his business at home, you know, he's being responsible. But when it comes to him saying no to her, now she has an issue. But she's quick to say, oh, you're the husband. This is what you're supposed to do. You know, same, I would go and just to be balanced. You have the guys, they complaining. They don't have to consult their wife for anything, but yet they complain if the wife doesn't cook or
Right.
take care of them. They want the married life, they don't want to act married.
Yes.
You
See,
know?
and that's the thing too. Everybody wants the
Benefits of the
something.
marriage, right.
Some days I want the benefits of a job, but I don't want to do the work. Let me just give me my paycheck and let me stay home and sleep. We all want the benefits of things, but we don't want the
Work with it,
responsibility
right.
that goes with it. And marriage is like you say, it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing, but it's a lot of work.
It is. Anything worth
more
having is
work,
worth
that's
work.
true.
Anything worth
That is
having.
absolutely true. But the more work that you're willing to put in it, the more beautiful it gets.
That's right.
But
The more you put in, the more you get out. Just like a bank account, the more you put in, the more interest you get off what you invest, right?
absolutely. But I want to read this though, because I want to ask you though, Jason, do you think sometimes the other spouse forces the other person to act as if they're single? Because someone is saying, how do you feel if you're living single? Because the spouse works all the time, all day, all night for years, and you grow apart so much, and there's so much distance because you end up being alone so often because the other person has immersed themselves into their job. We'll discuss that, I guess, but we do have to take a commercial break. So when we come back, we'll talk about that.
I guess on comments.
I'm Flynn Daxon from Nose Witness News, reporting live from Sniper Paintball City. We're here with the manager, and he's going to tell us a little about what they have to offer.
Daddy, I got this at Sniper Paintball. We have paintball, cornhole, mini golf, button cage.
Strike!
That's not a strike.
So come on down every Saturday and Sunday to Sniper Paintball City, located next to Crosstown, where you and the family can have a great time.
See you at Sniper.
Where you going, buddy?
To go buy these tickets for the party tonight.
Why this boy so dumb?
Tickets242.com.
You know how hard it is?
They sell tickets for parties, concerts, plays, sporting events, everything.
You know how expensive bus is?
Well, if you just buy the tickets online, they could just send you it in the email. Then you could just print it off.
You know how strong mosquitoes is?
Or you could go to the box office downtown at the Genesis Street Girl.
You ain't scared of Joneses, eh?
Welcome back. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about how married people act single. All right. And just before we went to the commercial break, I asked Jason, I wanted Jason's input on this question that we have. I got a message and someone wanted to know how is it possible that then that the other person, one spouse can cause the other one to act as if they're single. If the person goes out and works all the time, they have completely immersed themselves in their job. And the other spouse is left alone a lot. And so ends up feeling single more or less because they're left alone so much.
Mind you, marriage has its ups and downs, and you signed on for better and for worse. In fact, you signed on for incidents like this. As to say, cause them to feel like they're living single. I don't think nobody could cause you anything. It's how we take stuff in and how we react to it. They can help us feel a certain way, but at the end of the day, it's how we internalize it and how we process it. Now, this person is working a lot. What are they communicating? Yeah, by choice they're working, but are they communicating? Do they have bills? Are they trying to get out of financial debt? Are they trying to be financially free? Are they working towards vacation? Is he trying to get? I'm assuming it's a woman.
No.
So they have to have the communication as to why is he working so much. Is it because he doesn't want to be home? Is she making the house contentious? They have to have a communication.
No, she's
to
perfect,
communicate.
actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
I see it.
In this situation, she's perfect.
She's perfect.
Calm, sweet, nothing like me.
Yeah. So
she's just awesome.
So-
And
so
he
if-
chooses to work.
he chooses to
not
work.
to be home.
He chooses, and there has to be a reason why. Because people don't do things.
Right.
Children do things and don't know reason why. Adults react. So she has to find out why doesn't he want to be home? What is he working so hard for? Is she seeing this money he's working so hard for? Because that could be a cop out. You never know. That could be a code word. Work might be out of home.
True.
So it could be a number of other things. But we have to communicate. We always talk about this and on Let's Talk. Communicate, and effective communication. Not talking to win, not talking to respond, but talking to actually understand, to gain
Yes.
understanding, so that at the end of the day, the marriage can win.
Absolutely.
So that's what we should have. He just needs to, I don't know, if
And-
he doesn't talk, I don't,
So what do you do? But what do you do? And this is another question. I'm giving Jason all the tough questions tonight. What do you do when you see that your spouse is acting or moving as if they're single? What do you do?
you have to address it. You don't sit
Absolutely.
and wait. You address it. You call that bugger out. You call that joker out. You find the best way. Move with
Oh,
wisdom.
you going out? Oh, I'm getting ready. Give me a second. I'm coming with you.
Yeah. Hey, where you going again? Talk and just you sign up for that. He has to answer. Oh, wow, we got a call and we got some hot questions and comments. So, guys, you take this call first. Caller, welcome to Let's Talk. You are live.
Good afternoon, Let's Talk. It's good to hear this conversation that you guys are having. I heard the question that Sarah asked, and absolutely love that question because that is a question that most married couples face, especially in the younger years, and it's something that they're challenged by. And some points that you raised were really good. Are they trying to stabilize themselves financially? Is there a career path that they're trying to get to that's going to set them up? And then, of course, after that, they could go on vacations. He can come home early and all of those things. There's a flip side to that I'd like for Cheryl to address. What about the absentee mother in the home because, church going on 5 nights a week, there's choir practice, there's Bible study, there's women's ministry, there's all of these other things that are happening in the church. And it can be from the man's side as well as from the woman's side. So what do you do when the God that you are praying to, that you're saying, Lord, I need you to help me make my home strong and all these things, but yet God keeping my woman out the house, right? So how would you suggest that we address some of those things? And that's to both of you, to you and Cheryl, Jason. And I'll have.
Thanks, caller. Great input as always. Thank you so much, caller.
Definitely, but that's an age-old problem, and I'm glad you brought it up. But women have been out of place for many, many years as it relates to in the church. Christian women especially have been out of place. Your first ministry is to your home. And women must know that. And sadly, guess what? They were never told that in church. I think they should have been told that in church. You cannot neglect your home. Your first ministry is to your husband. And I think as a result of that, women have driven men away from church. Men or husbands have become resentful. Don't want to go to church. Why am I at church? My wife always there. And another thing they say too is that she doesn't even act the same at home how she acts at church. So that's another thing.
That's right.
But men have been turned off. And so I don't think it's the same. I think women are wisening up a little more. We're getting to the understanding that our spouse is our first option. He should be number one. Your spouse should be, and you're not putting your spouse before God if you decide that you are going to give him priority. As a matter of fact, you're honoring God in your marriage when you put your spouse first. And so that needs to be an understanding, and that also needs to be a communication between spouses. The Bible tells women that you should win him over with your character. And that means that you should stay home and be a good wife. And you could draw him to church faster than you going to church and leaving him at home. So that's definitely out of order.
Amen, Deaconess Cheryl. She said it all. I have nothing to add to that. but I guess I do have something, but because she asked me to put input.
Yes, please.
The God we serve will never separate husband and wife in that manner.
Yes.
So if she says she's going to church all this time and neglecting home, she ain't serving the same God who we supposed to be serving. Because God is a God of order. He set up a hierarchy. That's the right word, right?
Yes.
Of how we should operate. And you said it quite succinctly. You win him over by showing him how you serve God, by being home. So, no. But I have a comment here. It says, for me, married but living like you're single is having separate bank accounts.
That's a good one. Yes.
Married but living like a single is having separate bank accounts. Yeah, because all supposed to be one, eh?
Absolutely. The two
Suppose
have
it's-
become one. You
Right.
are one physically, financially,
That's right.
spiritually. You are one.
That's right.
And yes, you should. And even if you have separate bank accounts, it should be something that you both agree on.
Yes.
And the other person should be knowledgeable of what's
Yeah,
on your account. There
amen.
should be no secrets.
Exactly. Say spouses don't know what the other one have, and they are refusing to release that information.
Oh no.
Everything should be shared, meaning both our names should be on everything: house, car, bank account, and property,
But you know what?
not just the bills.
We talked about this before, though, Jason. This conversation needs to take place before marriage.
It should.
How do you feel? Not that you're going to share your bank account information with the person. You don't have to do that. But how do you feel about that? You need to ask. And of course, some people are they're dishonest in how they feel about it because you see a lot of people's true colors after the wedding.
Right.
But you still need to talk about it. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that?
Exactly. Everything should
We
be.
don't talk about a lot of these things enough.
You know why? Like we had a show a couple of weeks back about dating because we don't know how to date.
Right.
And all this stuff should happen in the dating phases. And then, but make it even worse, me and you old heads now, we ain't teaching it to our children. We ain't teach our children how to do it properly. We mess up.
Time, Jason, we can still
Yeah.
teach our children.
When I say we now, speaking
Right.
broadly, because
Okay.
I ain't making a mistake because I'm perfect.
Of course.
You think that woman on the phone is perfect? Who you talking about? I perfect. That's it.
But definitely.
But we messed up. We still ain't teaching our children where we mess up. We allowing them to go to make the same mistakes
Guess
we
what?
made.
A lot of people don't realize that they've messed up. They don't believe they're messed up because a lot of people are still living in the same errors that we discussed last week. They're still doing things wrong.
Yes.
So how many of us have realized that we have messed up?
Oh my gosh.
And that's
We ain't
another
growing
thing.
up. That means we ain't growing. That means we are not maturing. We're not growing up. But
Right.
let's stay on topic.
Yes,
Talk
it
about
is.
people, the married people out
Married
there
people.
acting like they're single. They
Acting like
walking
they're
or they giving rides and having
Wait, what's
conversations.
wrong with giving rides?
Hey, when you know, like the caller said, if you know, like the commenter said, you know that person is interested in you.
Yes.
Why are you giving them a ride?
Well,
If
that's
you know
true
you're
too.
putting yourself in an
Right.
atmosphere
You should
that
not
things
compromise yourself
could happen.
anyway. I agree.
Interested in talking.
Welcome to Let's Talk. Caller, you're live.
So I have a question that I'd like to pose to both of you. What about, because we're on the topic of finance, what about the conversation of, especially to the women, because this has been something that I think we're still even teaching to our daughters, that you ought to always have this little account somewhere tucked away, just in case. In case, because he could pick up and leave, and then what you can do, right? But that's something that happened in parents' days. It happened in my days, and I'm seeing it happen in the days of the younger people now too. So we're just passing on that tradition. What is to be said about that? And then for the on the opposite side of that, for the mothers who are saying to their sons, boy, don't be no fool. You control the money because you don't want this woman spending up all your money, your hard-earned money. And when you look, she pick up and she go and she do her own thing. What do you have to say to the generation of today that's facing those types of guidance? And then the comment was also made along the lines of, yes, you in a perfect world, that one bank account is what it should be, but sometimes it's not wise because sometimes you have that person who may be the spontaneous buyer and just decide, oh, I'm going to go and buy me a new pair of shoes or a new expensive handbag, or, this new outfit, and it kind of chunks into that, the mortgage got to pay, the power bill got to pay, the groceries need to buy. So maybe it's having that central account where this is where we both contribute to do the business of the house. You have your little account for, your frivolous spending. I have my account for my frivolous spending after all of the bills have been made. So that was the comment that one gentleman made. And I thought I would pass that on. So that's that point. But I want you all to attack, well, not attack, but address the issue of how we're instructing our girls as it relates to, you got to have that side money, that rainy day money. And then for the man, you got to watch your money. Don't let us spend up all your money. And I'll hang up and listen.
Well, one thing with our caller today is she's come with the good stuff, the good nuggets, man. She always got something good to add to this conversation. Thank you so much, caller.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Jason handle that. I think I'd be a hypocrite with that one.
Oh, so use one of them. So see,
While I believe, I definitely believe that, but I've had to advise someone otherwise because of a similar situation that she would have mentioned, where the other person was a spendthrift and they were irresponsible with money. And if the other spouse hadn't stashed something, they would have been up the creek without a paddle. And so, of course, negative actions or the end just does not justify the means. But in that situation, that's what happened. But you do have people who, if somebody is holding your life raft and they cannot be trusted as it relates, that's their weakness. That's very challenging.
yeah, see, I don't think there's one blueprint for every marriage's financial status. I believe that you have to take each situation as it comes because one spouse will definitely be weaker in a certain area.
Some people, you're okay with different arrangements. You
Right.
can
So,
have
but
different
you don't have to have one single joint account. You don't have to. But I believe you should be honest and open. Everyone should know what everybody has. And everybody should have some access just in case. Just in case. Now, I agree. Sometimes you got to have something set aside because for the rainy day, if you know you have a spouse who has a problem, you can't. Wisdom will dictate that, hey, do not give them access to this thing that costs.
From him?
Pardon me?
You're hiding it from him.
I don't know if you
He
should.
cannot have, or it
I don't know. I don't want
to
to bring it down to gender
now.
now. Don't make it no heat.
Did I say
Because see, women have
No.
spending problems with shopping. Men may have spending problems with substances. Maybe,
Well, I'm only saying he because
maybe.
I'm programmed that way.
Yes, I know,
Doesn't mean
I
I'm
know,
speaking
I
for
know.
guys.
Yeah,
But
really.
so he doesn't
Again, he.
I'm just saying no, but seriously though, if it could be a situation where if you know the person has a problem, then you have the account where both of you, even if this is the account that you deal with the funds, and I believe that you can have your personal account. We just that you're not hiding anything, but each person can have their personal account, and you have a joint account, but you can have it where you both have to consent if you know the
Right.
person has a problem. But once you have a conversation with your spouse, you should know what arrangement is best for you. And then,
Right.
like you said, there's no one size fits all.
And the thing is, you have to use wisdom. We all of us have to dwell with each other, dwell with our spouses in wisdom. You making your let's say me and you. You're bringing in your paycheck. I'm bringing in my paycheck. You take your paycheck and blow your paycheck on God knows what. So it's my. and guess what? You say it as a joke, but guess what? Sadly enough, that's a lot of females' mentality out there.
No, it's
Your
not.
money is your money.
A few maybe,
My
but
money
not a lot.
is our money.
Not the smart.
Because we've been programmed that men supposed to pay. Women do this, men do that.
Men should take care of the home. Yes.
Right. But that's another show. So here it is, you blowing them. So now my paycheck now has to cover everything else. And I have nothing left. But you living life single, party, and you have money to buy clothes, shoes, and because you don't have to consult with me because you're living like you're single. No man telling you what to do. Here I am, being a responsible husband, and I'm taking care of everything else, and you living like you're single. I will have to. Wisdom will dictate to me, hold on, Jason. You see how this woman operating. Start taking care of yourself. I don't subscribe to that. I won't, that would be the last resort. But I would have to say wisdom. My man, wise up and secure yourself because you see she's securing herself. Now that's a
And
marriage
but
on its way
sadly, though-
out. That's a marriage
Yes,
on its
I
way
was-
out.
I was about to say,
So
because-
therefore, you have to take care of yourself because she's on her way out, and
But that's what women do. Well, people. That's what people do emotionally as well. When they see people start acting a certain way, they start reserving their emotions.
you have to protect
And
yourself.
Whenever anyone starts doing that, whether it's with your body, you start holding your body back, you start holding your emotions back, you start holding your finances back. You have decided to slowly start killing the relationship.
Yes, and sadly enough, you both are now contributing to it because you're doing what the other person is doing.
Right.
Tit for tat. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Kill my dog, I kill your cat. Whatever that is. So, but she made the statement that how the mothers would teach their daughters to put something aside because, you know, in case this man leave. So the thing is, right, the law also helps them with that because while she's putting her little nest egg aside in case the man leave, when she decides to pick up and go, she's still taking half of whatever the man put there. So she getting taken care of all around. She get to put her nest egg up and she can take half, even if she didn't contribute to it.
But life shows
Even
you
if she
though
ain't
that
contributed.
what you plan for happens.
No.
No, I'm saying no. Seriously, what you plan for happens.
Oh, so she killed that.
A person who plans for the death of the marriage, the
Right.
marriage will die, and
But-
that's
And
what
so
happens.
sad that if one spouse cannot carry a marriage, they'll carry it for so long, but they can't sustain it. So he's there investing. She's preparing to leave, but he's investing. So when it leaves, now she ends up on top. So that's how she looks.
Because when
She
you-
ends up on top because she was setting aside a nest egg just in case, and she ends up taking half. So now he's end up holding the bag. The
Yeah,
the
it is,
excretion.
but like you say, Jason, a lot of things that we grew up on that were not always good for us, our parents advised us based on where they were. We are not where they were, so
Correct.
we ought not to live by those same
Correct.
practices.
Correct.
So we have to evolve and start thinking differently and understand that we have to think for where we are now and where we want to be.
Correct.
And so those things, like you said, stashing away, because, you know, the moment in a relationship you start setting something or putting something aside to fall back on, then you are going to start acting like you have something to fall back on. And
Options.
then you will end up.
Yes, definitely.
There,
When you
so
start
you
acting
fall
like you
back.
got options,
Yes.
you can pull on those options. Definitely. And so you have mothers now, like she said, to address the other half, mothers telling their sons to put something away because women were traditionally telling the daughters.
Yes.
So now these same daughters who heard
Yes.
to put something aside, they ain't got no daughters, so they got to tell it to their sons. Because she know what she do. Hold on. Let me make sure my son don't fall victim to what I put his father through.
Well,
So we have, but we strayed a bit from our topic. So we gotta take a commercial break, and I promise to bring us back.
when we come back,
When
we
we
have to
come
wrap
back.
up anyways.
We ain't wrapping up nothing.
Okay.
We start late so we can end late.
All right.
So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Where you going, boy?
To go buy these tickets for the party tonight.
Why this boy so dumb?
Tickets242.com.
You know how hard it is?
They sell tickets for parties, concerts, plays, sporting events, everything.
You know how expensive bus is?
Well, if you just buy the tickets online, they could just send you it in the email. Then you could just print it off.
You know how strong mosquitoes is?
Or you could go to the box office downtown at the Genesis Street Girl.
You ain't scared of Joneses, they.
Ready? So, welcome back to Let's Talk. Folks, this is a juicy one. This is a juicy one, right? So, we got some comments. The producer itching to get off his lip. So, we'll hear what the producer got to say.
Yes, Jason. One of the commenters said, when they start saying, no man gonna tell them what to do, it comes from an outside influence, from
true.
friends or family members or even mothers.
True.
Second one, and the baffling thing is, she seems set with demand a man to lead and provide, but then still say no man gonna tell them what to do. It is absolutely against God and for any woman to go against a man's wishes and dedicate all the time in church, and any church leader or pastor that condones, it is equally he is equally in error.
Yes, I agree.
If there's a joint bank account, the more fiscally responsible the person should control it.
Yes.
Now, who that is, that's, I guess, that's
Yeah.
what they're-
Yeah, they got debate that.
Yes. I think that's going to be a big debate. And the last one is people who act single always go out by themselves, always out with their friends and not with their spouse, hiding phones, making decisions without their spouse. It's up to no good.
Definitely. I agree. I agree. You know, the Bible said the two should become one. So every one means one. I know one is one. That's it. So when you start moving separate, that's you only one no more. And definitely you killing the marriage. You ain't looking for that marriage to last. You don't want to be there. You actually showing your spouse you don't want to be there. You all need to have a conversation as to what's going on. You shouldn't let it slide.
Yes.
I feel the minute you feel your spouse is acting single, you need to address that.
Yes,
Don't wait.
right away.
I think you should address that. And
And if he doesn't address it, that means maybe the other person wants to do the same thing.
Probably.
Or is doing the same thing.
probably that's a
In
sad
some
thing.
marriages, you do have just two single people rooming together.
Yeah, that's right. They say roommates. Say, but I like that song. I wish we could have played that, you know. And I was supposed to tell the producer, cue that up. Say, while you out looking for sugar,
Boy,
someone can taste your honey.
definitely off topic.
What? What? No, that's what the single, that ain't off, that's right on topic, because the married man or the woman, they out looking for sugar. They leave their honey home. So while you out there looking for sugar, somebody can taste your honey. So don't, they say what's good for the cat is good for the rat. What's good for the goose is good for the gander too. So you out there,
That's an eye for an eye. That leaves the whole world blind.
yeah, no, it leaves the whole world one eye. I can see through one eye.
Okay.
But we glamorize this sweethearting thing, because that's what it all boils down to when a married person is still acting single. And they believe because they're in with another person, they're not sweethearting. If you're in with your spouse, if you're sharing great moments without your spouse, you sweethearting. Either sweethearting with the job, you sweethearting with the money, you sweethearting with another person, you sweethearting with food. Because if you're going out eating, hey, you can't wait to get away. You even let your spouse know you're going out to dinner, because you can't wait to go to this restaurant and pick out. Man, you sweethearting on your spouse. You sweethearting. All those great moments you're supposed to be sharing with your spouse, you sharing with someone or something else, you sweethearting. You acting like you're single.
Yes. But yeah, let me just say, if you're married and you're acting like you're single, you're typically practicing the things that Jason and I discussed tonight. If you have to ask yourself some questions. Why are you doing it? Do you really want to be married? Because if you enjoy spending time away from your spouse, it's more enjoyable to you than spending time with your spouse, then do you really want to be there? What is your point of being there? Are you just using the other person? Is it just convenience, or what is it? So definitely that's something that needs to be addressed. And if you notice, like Jason said, the other person is acting like they're single, then you need to address it, and address it right away. Because if you don't address it, then you're trifling just as well.
Yeah. Address it in wisdom now. Don't go there flying off the handle.
Yeah.
Don't go there, I think or I feel.
Conversation.
Have a mature conversation.
Yes.
You know, you catch more flies with sugar, they say.
With honey than with
With honey
vinegar.
than vinegar. Like we a
Yeah.
family show, so we can use the clean.
Yes.
But you know, something I was trying to think about, but you know, I get old now, so I
busy singing.
forget. Too busy singing. But yeah, we say we won't be married, but we only want to be there for the good stuff. But it's all how we react to it, you know. Some people may not want to go home because of how the situation is now. But we play a part inside that, you know, whatever that situation is with your spouses, which you don't want to address, or some you feel now, oh, I don't want to go home because it looked green on the other side. it only looks greener because it's new. The minute you start off getting in with that other person, you end up the same places with your spouse now. So it's cheaper you keep her. And that's what they say. Cheaper to keep up, but they say that for a different reason.
Yes, I think so.
it's cheaper to keep. That might be why.
Alimony
Yeah, that's what
situation.
you said. That's what you said. Why they don't leave? They know they don't want to be there. It's because it might be cheaper to keep her. That's what we. She taking half of what I didn't work hard for, and she ain't put one nail in this house yet. But she can go take. It's cheaper to keep her. It's cheaper we just go in separate rooms. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there living like that.
Yeah.
I've learned that this isn't an isolated incident. There's quite a few. There's a culture out there. Spouses just living in the same house, but in separate rooms, and they just pass each other like ships in the night. You know,
Some are living in the same rooms as well, but they have different. They have it plateaued emotionally. They're living separately mentally and every which way. So,
that is sad.
yes, that happens.
That is sad.
But let me ask you this though. But what if you're living like you're single and the other person doesn't mind?
I mean, they living like they're single too.
Maybe not. They just don't mind. They just feel like it's not harming the relationship. You go out, you have your fun, you still have a great sex life, you still do some things together, but the other person just has a free spirit, and you could be a homebody, you could be an introvert. The other person is an extrovert, and you just allow them to be them.
Well, that means they're not living like they're single, because that means
But
sounds
they're
like the
doing
other
everything
person.
that
It sounds like the other person has respect for their marriage, and the spouse is okay with them doing it because they're not disrespecting the marriage. So they're not really living single. They just appear to be living single because I like to go out and dance, and my wife likes to stay home and just watch TV. So they only always see me out by myself dancing.
Right.
But my wife, no, I'm not disrespecting her in no way. I just out dancing. So I just having fun. And she knows it's just that she don't want to be there because she don't want the spotlight. I'm just speaking generally now. That's not my life. I don't talk with me on the show. You all like to talk with people, but I don't talk with me. I can talk with people. I can talk with me. But just saying, you know. So if we have an understanding, and I'm not disrespecting the marriage or the person, let me take it off of me because you all like to talk. Y'all gonna think I talk about myself. If the person is that's what we do. We like to talk with people. They're waiting for me in the house so they can talk with us. But if they're not disrespecting the marriage, they have an understanding that they're not living like they're single. So let them be. They have an agreement.
Okay.
So,
right.
Cheryl, what do you have to say? Give us your words of wisdom. Oh, great,
I
Cheryl.
think I kind of gave my wrap-up lines already,
Yeah.
This show seems like it's going on forever. But no, seriously though, once you leave home, you ought to leave and cleave. And we said before that the two of you shall become one. And so conversations must take place about how that is going to be. And once you love each other in the relationship, you determine the terms of how your relationship will be. There's no one size fits all, and what's happening in the house next door may not work for you, but you determine what your relationship terms, like I said, will be, and live by that. As long as the husband feels respected, the wife feels loved, then everything is fine.
Right. And let me tell you something. We a lot of us could give, but we can't take, you know. I had some coworkers who I used to work with, and they would be bragging about what they did, you know, how they got this woman over here. And they talking about, they just selling me the dream. And I sit down, this is when I was single, I used to sit down and look at them, I say, yeah, you know you doing that, and your wife, our young fella right there laying up, boy, Jason, and they get livid. My wife would never do that. I say, well, why she wouldn't do that? You bragging about what you doing, why she can't do it? Oh, she would never do that, she can't. I say, see, y'all could give, but y'all can't take. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You won't be out here, you know you married, male or female, man or wife, husband or wife. You know you married, but yet you will still carry on like you single and leave your good spouse home waiting for you. Listen, you calm up, come right back around. I hope you could take it when the shoes on the other foot. Most of the time we can't take it. So before it gets there, let's be honorable. Let's live up to our vows. You went before God for that woman or that man. Let's do what we're supposed to do and be mature adults. Get away from the sweethearting culture. And let's be honorable. Let's give our children something to look forward to. Let's give our children something to live up to. Let's be adults about this, man. This has been Let's Talk. We're glad to have you here with us, and we hope to have you with us again next time. Next week, 6 o'clock, same place, same time. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.